guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, today I have a couple special projects for you. Today is the One Stamp at a Time blog hop, and we're supposed to be making festive projects for Christmas. So this is what I came up with. I decided if you're like me, you give gift cards. And not all gift cards, I give presents too, but in case you need something special to package your gift cards, I thought I'd make a couple projects for you. So this one is a neat little card, just opens up like this, and it fits the credit card sized gift cards that you can give. Now, yes, I know this is not a gift card. I didn't have one on hand. This is my Disney World pass for one day when we got to go to Epcot Center for on stage back in 2018. So can't believe that was 4 years ago. But I love this card, and I hope you enjoy it too. And then there will be another little gift card. It'll be a tag that we'll do next. So let's go ahead and get started. And if you'd like to make this along with me, just look down the video description below and click on that blog post link. There you'll find all the dimensions you need and the supply list you need to get everything together and come back and make it with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first off, I'm going to show you what I used to make this. I'm using the Merriest Moments Stamp Set and the coordinating Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder. Now, it is called hybrid embossing folder, but whenever you see it say hybrid, it means the folder includes dies as well. Now, this time I'm not going to be using the embossing folder that comes with it, but I am going to be using some dies. So I'm going to be using both of the poinsettias, and I believe that is all I'm going to use this time around. Yep, it is. So put those to the side, and with the stamps, I'm using both poinsettias, the small leaf, the Thinking of You This Festive Season, and Season's Greetings. I'm also using the layering circles dies, and I'm using the number 4 die of the regular circles. So what I do, I always start with the smallest counting. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the one I'm using with this die set. And then I'm also using the wintry 3D embossing folders. I'm actually going to be using both of these on my projects, but for this first one, I'm going to be using the one with the pine branches. Okay, first off, we're going to get some stamping done. So I'm going to grab a piece of basic white that's 4 by 2 1/4. I'm going to grab my cherry cobbler ink pad and my 2 poinsettias. As you can see, they're stained. This is a stamp set that came out last year, so it is well loved. We made a lot of cards with this last year. This is the first one I've made this year, but I really like the poinsettias in this. I think they're neat looking. So I've stamped both of them. Now this one is going to go on the top because I'm layering it. So now I'm going to grab my saffron ink pad and just stamp the little center piece. Oh, this is one stamp I forgot to tell you to get out, so make sure you get that one out. And we'll just stamp that here in the center of this little poinsettia. So now we've got that one ready to go. Now I need to grab we'll put the saffron away because that is, well, no, we'll need that again here in a minute. I almost forgot. Okay, now I'm going to grab another piece of basic white. This is a 4 by 4 inch piece. This is going to go on the inside of the card. I'm going to get my cherry cobbler again and the small poinsettia. And let's put it right about here in the bottom left corner. I'm going to grab that small leaf stamp and use my Evening Evergreen. Get that inked up. Let's put one right down here. And we'll put one right around here. I'm going to grab, let's go ahead and close this because we're done with the Evening Evergreen. I'm going to grab that saffron again and that center, and just stamp that right here in the center of the flower. And last but not least, for the inside of the card, I'm going to grab my soft succulent ink pad and the Thinking of You This Festive Season. So I'll ink that up with the soft succulent. I'm going to put that top center, hold that down for a few seconds. And we've got the inside done. And then we've got one more thing to stamp. Let me go ahead and close this up. One more thing with the cherry cobbler. I'm going to grab my last piece of basic white. This is a 3 by 3 1/4 inch piece. We'll ink this up with my cherry cobbler. Get it right in the center Hold it down a few seconds. And there we go. Okay, before we do any die cutting, we're going to do some scoring. I'm going to take my card base. This is an 11-inch by 4¼ piece, so it's a half sheet. And we will put this up against here with the 11-inch side along the top. And we need to score it at 2½ inches. I want to use the right end. Whenever you use the scoring tool, there's a smaller end and a larger end. The larger end is for designer series paper, thinner paper. And this smaller one is good for the cardstock. So I'm going to do 2½ inches. And then 6¾ inches. Okay, now that we have this scored, I want you to grab a piece of designer series paper. This is from the Boughs of Holly DSP, and this is a 4 by 2¼ inch piece. And grab my seal here. And we're going to put that on this front section right here. You can do whichever side you want, any pattern in the pack. This is just the one that I picked out. And I'm going to put it on here, because this is going to be folding down like so when we're done. So you want to make it so it's looking the right side up. This, they're kind of going every which way, so it doesn't matter. But I thought that side looked a little bit better. Now we're going to get our die cutting machine out and get this card going. Okay, so we've got the die cutting machine out. I'm going to get it ready for die cutting. So we've got the base platform, the die plate, and then we need the standard cutting plate. I'm going to go ahead and grab these poinsettias here. Now the trick to this, all these petals look a little different. So I'm going to find the one that's kind of thin and curled up a little bit. And I do believe that is this one right here. Oh, and it is good. So then we'll get this centered. And I'm going to put a piece of Post-it tape right here to keep it in place. And then I'm going to grab the large ones, do the same thing. Let's see here. This one's kind of a fat one, short, fat one. Let's see. Maybe it's that one. Nope, nope. There we go. One over. I knew it was in between these two. So just find the petal that looks a little more different than the rest of them, and that'll help you line them up easier. Put that down. We'll run this through here. Then we have one more thing to die cut. We're going to grab that card base. First, let's go ahead and get these off. We've got this one for the bottom of our poinsettia layer. This is going to be a 2-layer one. And then here's our top layer. Okay, now we need to grab that card base, and we're going to be cutting the circle out of this section where the DSP is at. Now I'm going to fold this down. I know I want that circle to be cut out here on this top right. So that helps me know where to put that circle. So it's going to go right over here. I'm going to put it down right here. I'm going to center you have to get that DSP down first. I almost forgot that when I was making this, because this is going to be cut out too through the DSP. So make sure you do this, put the DSP on before you die cut your circle. So I'm kind of getting that score line in the middle. I'm going to take some Post-it tape and hold it in place. I think one will be enough. Put another standing cutting plate on top. We will run this through. Oh, and we do have one more thing to cut out. I was thinking this was the last thing, but we need another circle. I don't want to use this one. One thing's got the designer series paper on it. Plus, it's got that fold in there, so that just isn't going to look right. So I'm grabbing let's see, I think this is a 2½ by 2½ inch piece of the soft succulent again. Put the same circle, it needs to be the same circle size. And I think this is like a 2 1/8 inch circle. So if you have a punch, it's like a 2½, or I mean a 2-inch one or 2 1/4 inch one, that'll work with this too. But the trick is you want this circle to be the same size as the one that we took out of our card base. Okay. Now I'm going to emboss this. So let's get this all situated for the embossing. It's a 3D folder. So the only thing we need is the base plate at the bottom. I'm going to grab this folder here. Put that in a spot that looks pretty good. Make sure it's fold first. Then I'm going to grab the specialty plate that goes on top. And we'll run this through. And there we go. Oh, and I do need to die cut one more thing. My goodness, I've only made this one time, so it's hard to remember all the steps. So let's get this set back up for die cutting. I'm going to grab a piece of cherry cobbler. This is going to be my little pocket for my gift card holder. This one is a 4-inch by 2 1/8. I'm going to grab the smallest circle, which I forgot to tell you to get out of my layering circles. And I just want to have a little notch there. I'm not going to go all the way down for the halfway mark. I'm going to kind of try to get it centered this direction. I think that looks pretty good. That's going to help when you give it to somebody. They'll be able to reach in easier and get their gift card out. So I'll run this through. And now we'll have our little notch. Oops. There we go. And I decided I wanted this to get embossed too. So I'm going to take these back off again. We're going to stick this in to where I like it. That's too wide, so we definitely want to put it in this way. Fold in first again. Grab that specialty plate. And we'll run it through. And that's ready to go. So now it's time to get the die cutting machine out of the way, and we'll finish this gift card holder. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the card base. Grab my bone folder. This is going to go up like this. So we'll go ahead and get these score lines burnished. And this one is going to come down like so. Okay. Now, this looked really plain to me. So now that it's folded up, I know this is the side I want my DSP to be on. So I'm going to use, it's the same paper, but I'm going to use the other side. So this is a 4x4-inch piece because I thought it would look better to have a contrast. I didn't want them to both match. Now, if you like them both matching, you go right ahead because that does look good too. But I'm going to do it this way. So put this over. Get some steel on here. If I can get it going, it's almost gone. It seems like I'm almost at the end of one all the time. Now you can decide if you want the lines to go that way. I like them going vertically. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay. And now while we've got this laying here, let's grab that circle that we did. And this is how you place this on here. You want it to be, you don't want to line it up perfectly because then it's going to have trouble. It's going to get locked into place. So you bring it down just a little bit. So we're going to put some glue just on the bottom half of this. You could use seal too. I'm going to kind of go under center just a little bit because I don't want to have any glue sticking up where I don't want it. That will be plenty to hold that in place. Make sure it is definitely on the bottom. I will lay this down, line it up the sidewise, but like I said, you want to have it a little lower so there's a little bit of a gap right there. Okay? And see, it's moving okay for me. So I know I've got it in the right place. That's another nice thing with the glue. It has a little give so you can kind of slide it if you need to until it soaks in. Then it's on there for good. So we've got that down. Let's go ahead and put our little greeting right here. And I decided to put that on with dimensionals. So we'll turn this over. And I'm going to put one on each end. And since it's kind of long, I'm going to go ahead and put one here in the middle too. Take these off, the paper backings. And holding this down so I can get an idea where I want this. There, I'm kind of centering it on the part that's showing while this is down, okay? It's over just a little bit. That's why I lay things down nice and easy without pushing it down until I know I've got it right where I want it. Much better. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put this down. I'm going to put some, well, actually, let's do that poinsettia first. So we will grab this and this. I'm going to put a little glue on the back center of this one. Okay, just the center part. And then I'm going to lay it down on here. Actually, I'm going to grab my silicone mat just in case the glue kind of is showing on the bottom. It won't stick to my surface. So I'm going to make it so the petals are going in between the petals of the large one. Okay. So hold that down because right now it's kind of moving around. If you put pressure on it, then it stops moving around. So it's on there really good. Now I'm going to turn this over. I'm just putting glue on the large poinsettia, and I'm putting it up on the leaves too, because I want this to stay down. We will bring this in, keep this down, because we want to make sure we don't get our poinsettia in the way of the flap going up and down. That looks pretty good, so I'm going to hold it down. Make sure it takes hold. And then I'm going to take these. This is why I only did the center of that little one. I can kind of flick these up a little bit while it's glued on. It's a little easier after it's glued on. And now we've got a little dimension to our poinsettia. There we go. So we've got the front just about done. I'm going to grab a piece of ribbon. This is the Golden Vanilla Satin Edged ribbon. It's a 9-inch piece. And I'm going to put a little, actually I think seal works better on this one. I'm going to have it about right here. I'm just going to put a little bit right here. If I can get it wheeled up again. Well, it is, oh, it's just about gone. I mean, I might have to get my other one out here. Okay, so I'm going to put one end right here. Okay, make sure I still have some adhesive over here. It's kind of in the middle of my adhesive strip. Bring this around. Try to get it straight. And lay this down here. Okay, so now we've got both of those ends in there really good. If this is too far down, because what I'm going to be doing, I'm using, this is something that came out last year and they brought back the gold holly leaves. And I'm going to use the small ones. You can use the larger ones if you want to. Actually, I did use the larger ones. Okay, I was thinking I used the smaller ones. So we're going to use 2 large ones. I got to look at the small ones. I thought, oh no, those are a lot smaller than I needed. And I'm going to be putting some holly right here, and I want to be able to cover up that flap. Now it is kind of moving around since it's really not attached. So I'm going to do what I did with my original. I'm just going to cut that little flap off. There we go. Now it won't be a problem. And we're going to cover up where it meets, where the our holly goes. So I'm going to kind of lay them down, get an idea where I want to put it. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to put these on, actually, turn it over. You can, when you look at these, you may not be able to see this in the video, but there are veins in this. That's the front of the leaf. I'm going to put them on with glue dots. I just think it stays on a little better. You can also use your seal. I tried it with a multi-purpose glue. It probably would have worked, but it moved around on me, so I'm going to use my glue dots. So I've got this about right here, kind of angled. Like I said, I want to cover up that section where they come together. So now we'll go ahead and get glue dots on this one, and I'm putting one on each end. Still make sure those veins are at the top. It's real easy to miss that. But you'll notice once you get it attached to the card if you do it wrong. So I'm going to have these meet here down at the bottom. Okay. I really like those leaves. I think they're so pretty. Then I'm grabbing our red rhinestone basic jewels. They're all the same size. So these are going to be my little berries. So I'll put one right here. Actually, I'm kind of putting one on each bottom end of the leaves. Okay. Now, if you want to put more than 3 berries on, you go right ahead. You put as many as you want. And then I'm going to put one down here. It's going to be kind of like a triangle. And push that down. So now we have got the front completely done. Isn't that pretty? I love this. Okay, now I'm going to let's finish our inside now. This is where we're going to put our pocket. And we don't want it, I'm not going to use my seal because it's a little wide. And I was thinking if I did that on here, it might make the pocket too thin and the gift card's not going to fit in. So I'm going to take my glue, multi-purpose glue, and just put a nice little thin strip on each side. And the nice thing with the silicone mat, because this is coming out a little bit faster than I wanted it to in a couple sections. So, because I don't want it oozing out, I'm going to take a little bit off, just a little bit, so that way it's not all goopy. And that will dry and I can peel that off later. And then I'm going to put this right here, right above the score line. Once I've got it where I want it, then I'm going to push it down so that glue takes hold. It just needs some pressure. Didn't get that right in the center, but that's okay. I just noticed that. Last but not least, we're going to take that 4-inch square that we decorated, and we will put that in that bottom flap at the bottom. Oh, just enough to get this done. Cool. I'll be using another seal for my other gift card that'll come right after this. So there we go. I hope you like this. It's like a trifold gift card holder. Okay, so here's the card, and it just goes right inside here. And you close it up, and it's ready to go. And this will fit in one of our medium envelopes. So they're our regular card envelopes. So hope you enjoyed this one. Let's get ready for the second one. That's a tag gift card holder. Okay, now we're ready for my little tag gift card holder. And this will fit the same size gift card as the first one of those credit card sized ones. This one is really easy to make, and it features the Celebrate with Tags bundle that's in the July to December mini catalog. So let's go ahead and get started. And once again, click on that blog post link below and you'll get the supplies and dimensions you need to make this too. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the Celebrate with Tags bundle. I only use this. This is the first time I've ever used it, so I still haven't had a chance to put my magnets on here. I always add the magnets myself. This is how they come when you buy the bundle. But I love the different tags. This is going to be the tag we're using, so let's go ahead and take that off right now. I'm also going to be using this snowflake, and I'm going to be using this little banner die right here. And one more is going to be the mitten. So those are all the dies we're going to use. And whenever you purchase, just like, well, the other one is not a bundle anymore. This one is a bundle. When I say bundle, when you purchase them together with the bundle number, you save 10% versus buying them separately. So it's definitely your best deal is to get the bundle. And with the stamps, I used just 2 of them. I used the mitten and I used the Be Jolly. And once again, I'm going to use the Wintry embossing folders, but this time we're going to use the snowflake one. Okay, first off, we're going to get some stamping done. So let's get a piece of basic white. This is a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to grab the Be Jolly banner and my garden green ink pad. And I will stamp that probably just right here at the bottom, because we're going to be die cutting this out. So we've got that ready to go. Now I'm going to grab my real red ink pad. And this one is going to be for our mitten. So get that inked up real well. That looks pretty good. I'll just put this here at the top. And that is all the stamping we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get our die cutting machine out. Okay, let's start die cutting. I'm going to grab the piece that we just stamped. Let's get it set up, get that die plate and standard cutting plate on there. I'm going to grab my mitten. And I left enough room that I should be able to get both dies on here. I'm going to move this up here a little bit because we're going to do another thing to die cut along with it. So get that on there good. Get a piece of tape, make sure that's on there. And grab my banner die. Oh yeah, plenty of room. You just make sure it fills in that opening, that you don't see any white in the opening of the die. And since that one's kind of long, I don't want this end moving on me, so we'll do that there. I think that's, well, you know what? I'm going to take another piece of tape down here just to be on the safe side. Now I'm going to grab that snowflake, and I'm going to grab a piece of white glimmer paper. This is from the Real Red and white glimmer paper that's in the July to December mini catalog. Now, this one is not available right now if you don't have it, but it will be available by the end of the month, end of November, or beginning part of December. They're saying that last week that's November and December is when they're expecting the shipment to come in. Then I'm going to grab another standard cutting plate and put it on top. And we will run this through. I'm not bothering with tape on that snowflake, just as long as it's within the paper, we're good. So there's our pretty snowflake. Isn't that neat? I really like that snowflake. So I'm not adding any stamp sets or dies to this one. This one is just using everything that comes in the bundle. There's our cute little mitten. And then we've got our Be Jolly. There we go. So that's all the, no, we're going to die cut the main tag. So I'm going to grab a piece of Pool Party. This is a 3 1/4 by 8 inch piece. And that is the right size for this big tag die here. Get that standard cutting plate on top of it. Make sure it's on the paper, nothing hanging over the edge. We will run this through. Now, one trick I have learned, because I'm going to emboss part of this, but when you emboss, sometimes it takes away those score lines that the die just made. So I'm going to hurry up and fold these real quick. Make sure I'm putting my finger underneath here because there are other little places here that want to start folding. So I want to make sure I'm folding the right one. Let's go ahead and bring this back over here. I can use this as my workplace. I don't have to get the die machine out of the way because we're going to be using it again. I'm going to burnish that. Do the same thing with this one. So I'm kind of putting my fingernail under there so I'm getting the right thing folded. And then use my bone folder again. And then we've got one more, so we can kind of put those out again. This one is going to go down. This one's a little easier to go on the score line. There we go. Neither one of them are hard, but there's just some little bitty indentations. It's almost like an embossed border around here, and sometimes it wants to fold on that border. We don't want that, so make sure. I like that border. I think it looks cool. Okay, so I decided the side that has the tabs here is going to be my front. Either one would probably work, but this one I like better because these are going to tuck under here. So I think this side looks a little more finished than the other one. So, but like I said, you can do whichever one. I'm going to grab that snowflake embossing folder. And I'm going to look at the images here. The images kind of end a little bit above. Well, actually, that snowflake is right there on the edge. So I'm going to kind of line that up. I want it to be right along that score line right here. I don't want it to go past that. We'll close this up. Oh, let's get the right sandwich here. I'll take the die plate and standard cutting plate out of the way. Oh, wrong plate. We need the specialty plate on top. And then we'll run this through. The folder is not big enough to do both sides. If you want to do both sides, you could easily just turn it around and do it that way. But I just decided to have the front be embossed. And because we burnished the score lines, now I can go back and fold them again with no problem. If I'd forgotten to do that, that embossing was going to smash the little score line that the die made. But since we already folded it, that made the score line a lot better, and it's not going to flatten out on us. Okay, we are all done with the die cutting machine, so let's finish this gift card tag. Okay, I'm grabbing my silicone mat. Oh, good. I don't know if you noticed this. You see the shiny stuff on here? That's that glue I used on my first one. Now I can just rub it off. It comes off super easy. I'm not getting it. It's not sticking on me. It's a little tacky, but it comes off real easy. I love these silicone mats. They come in really handy. Now I'm going to be closing this because I think it's a little easier to close it at the beginning. So they're going to be folded like this. Let's go ahead and turn it around. We can flatten them out. It's a little easier to put the glue on. And you can use tear and tape if you want to, but this is kind of narrow. So I thought it was better when they're narrow like that. I like to use the glue instead. And the glue is very strong once it takes hold. So you don't have to worry about it not staying together. Okay, and it doesn't look like I've got it too goopy, so I'm not going to worry about putting any glue on here. Let's fold these. I've still got them folded up a little bit. There we go. And then we'll close this down. I'm going to start here on the bottom. Once you start pushing it down here, then those tabs fold in really easy. There we go. I'm going to kind of push it and give it some pressure again like I've done before to get that glue to take hold. There we go. And now we have tag all made. The gift card will fit in there perfect. Let's go ahead and decorate this. So I'm going to take the paper. Oh, here we go. I got this DSP. This is the Sweetest Christmas DSP. It's that sweet that has the candy canes in it. Now, I did a 2.5 by 1 inch piece. It's a little wider than the tag, but you'll see why here in a minute. This isn't exactly 2 inches. 2.25 inches, or 2.5. So I made it a little bit longer because I didn't want to make it too short because then it wouldn't look right. So I want to make it a little longer. I'm going to go ahead and just keep using my glue. Let's get that silicone mat out. So that way I don't have to get my seal back out. I'm not going to go all the way to the end because I do know it's a little bit longer than I need it to be. And I'm going to put it right across the bottom of this, leaving a little blue, little pool party showing at the bottom. Get that on there really good. Then I'm going to turn it around, grab my paper snips, and you just put your paper snips right along the edge of your tag. There we go. So that's all ready to go. Looks like I got a little sticky on there, but that will come off if I'm going to grab my adhesive remover. We don't sell this anymore, but you can find it on Amazon. There we go. That took those little pieces off. I had a little bit of glue on my fingers, I think, but now that residue's gone. So that looks a lot better. Now I'm going to grab the mitten. Nope, let's grab the Be Jolly first. And I wanted it popped up with dimensionals. You can use the border of your dimensionals. Let me show you. Cut some of those off, or you can use the minis. A full-size one's a little too big, so I'm just going to use my minis and put one on each end. It's not real long, so I think that's going to be enough. We don't need to put one in the middle. Take your pick tool again. Get those off. That one kind of flipped on me, the first one. There we go. And I'm going to put this kind of the top center of the DSP. I'm going to lay it down, make sure I've got it. Oh, we need to move it over just a little bit. Want it straight. Here I'm at an angle, so I'm having a little trouble seeing. There we go. I might have to stand up. There we go. That's better. So now we've got the Be Jolly on there. Then I'm going to be putting the mitten on like this and putting the snowflake right about up here. So I'm going to use, I can use a mini glue dot, very easy. I'm going to go ahead and use my glue again since I've got it out. But you could just put a glue dot right there in the center. I'm going to put this at the top right corner. I want to make sure, I guess a snowflake could hang over if you wanted it to, but I'm afraid that it would start getting torn up. So I'm going to make sure it's within the edge of the tag. Hold that down for a few seconds so it takes hold. I wanted to pop that up with dimensionals. Once again, let's go ahead and just keep using the minis. The big ones definitely work. But since they come in separate packs, I'll just show you how you can use the minis too. So I'll probably use about 4 of these. That should be good. We'll take these off. Kind of scooping them up. And then I'm going to angle it a little bit like so. I'm going to kind of have it right above my Be Jolly. You can have it tucked under it a little bit too if you want to, but I am covering up my snowflake a little bit. That looks pretty good. And I thought it needs a little bling. Oh, let me get that dimensional paper off of there. So I'm using our Rhinestone Basic Jewels. I'm going to use the small ones. Actually, these are probably the medium-sized ones. The small ones and medium ones are real close to the same size, so they'll work. So if you've got some small ones you want to use up, those will definitely work. There's a little button right here, and I thought, well, we're going to put a little rhinestone, have it be a rhinestone button. And since there's a snowflake on the mitten, we'll go ahead and put one right in the middle of that snowflake. So we've actually got that done. So these, oh, I keep having my little dimensionals. Okay, I've got a little bit of glue on that finger and it's just picking up everything. So there we've got that. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of ribbon. There's a real red and garden green ribbon combo pack that's in the July to December mini catalog. And I'm going to use the real red one. This is a 6-inch piece. So first you have to put your gift card inside. Then you fold this in half. I'm going to kind of even make this a little narrower too. And starting from the front, you're going to pull it through. See if I can get a hold of it. Try to take a center here. There we go. I'm putting the corner in. That way it comes through. Open this up. And then we'll put that like so. So all they have to be really easy for them to get their gift card out. But you got to put ribbon on a tag. I'm stretching them out because I kind of like it looking like a V. Grab my scissors. And I'm going to cut the ends at an angle. Make them about the same size. And this one is done too. So I hope you enjoyed my video. So there's the second one we made. Here's the first one that we made at the beginning of the video. And if you'd like to stamp along with me again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button below and then clicking on the bell icon that pops up and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video and you won't miss anything. So I do periodic videos and also do some lives too. Okay, now if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And I'd love to send your first set of catalogs out to you for free. Here's the annual catalog and the July-December catalog. This is the one that I use the most today. Just click on that contact me link below in the video description and send me your mailing address and I'll get these mailed out to you right away. So let's look at the projects one more time. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'd love to hear from you. I always love to hear from people that are watching. So you can either comment below or give me a like so that way I know you like this video. And I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Have a great day.